My name is Jack, and I've been a professional international DJ for over 15 years. And in this video, we're going to discuss the topic of mixing in key. More importantly, whether you should be mixing in key or not when DJing live. The way that we're going to do this is that we're going to play a little game called In Key or Not In Key. The rules of the game are simple. I'm going to show you a mix, and you have to guess whether it's in key or not. Then I will reveal to you after every mix what the answer is. We're going to do a total of 4 mixes, and the purpose of this little experiment is to see whether you can tell if the mixes are in key or not. Alright, so just to give you some quick context around mixing in key if you're not familiar with it, this is the Camelot system, and basically each track is going to be assigned an alphanumeric number. That's where it has a number and letter combo, which makes it easier to find which tracks are going to be in key with each other. Now, to technically mix in key and have your tracks harmonically sound, the idea is that you only move one up or one down or one across from the key you're currently in. So for example, let's say your track is in 8A. To keep your tracks in key, you want to move either up one to 9A, down one to 7A, or across one to 8B. You can also stick in the key of 8A as well. So to keep it simple, when mixing in key, you want to mix the next track in that is the same number or one above or one below the number you're currently at. So in this video, when I talk about mixing in key, this is what I'm referring to. Alright, so we have our 2 tracks up here. On the left hand side, we have the track Low by Flo Rida and T-Pain. And on the right hand side, we have the track Sexy Bitch by Akon and David Guetta. What I'm going to do is mix from the track on the left, Low, into the track Sexy Bitch, and let's see if you can tell if this mix is in key or not. Let's do it. Alright, so what are your thoughts? Was that in key or not? So let's reveal the answer. According to Rekordbox, if you drag the tracks over into Rekordbox and let this DJ software analyze the key itself, the track on the left hand side is analyzed as 2A and the track on the right hand side is analyzed as 10A. So technically, according to Rekordbox, these 2 tracks are not in key. Now I know some DJ softwares can analyze keys differently, so what I'm going to do now is just quickly Google both these tracks and see what Google have to say about it. Alright, so according to Google here, the track Low by Flo Rida is in the key of 3A. So that's different to the 2A that we have in our Rekordbox DJ software. And also, if we Google the track Sexy Bitch by David Guetta, the Camelot Wheel key on this one is 10A, which is the same as what we have in Rekordbox. So there's a slight difference there. But either way, whether Rekordbox is right or Google is right, these 2 tracks are technically not in key according to the Camelot Wheel. Now for me personally, I think this mix sounds good and it does work with the live audience. I have done this test before in a previous video and I just showed the mixes on the DJ software. Now it is different context when you're sitting at home, listening to the mix coming directly out of the DJ software with no context of it actually being DJ'd live. DJing live is different than DJing at home or DJing for a mix to put online and watching it through the DJ software. So what I'm going to do now is show you that mix done live and then you can make your decision from that whether it sounds good or not to a live audience. Alright, so we have the mix here and this is just a clip from my Instagram and it's just a point of view video where I'm filming behind the decks and also slightly giving a semi-tutorial mix where I'm describing what I'm doing during the transition. But you can see me DJ this mix live and see what kind of impact it has on the audience. So let's watch the mix. Alright, so hopefully you can see there that that mix actually works really well when DJing live and the people in the audience cannot tell whether it's in key or not. Another thing to bear in mind, and one reason why I'm showing you these clips from Instagram, is that not only can the people who I am DJing live to tell if they're in key or not, but also people online who have watched the video also cannot tell if they're in key or not. So this is the video just here, and you can see that this video has over 250,000 views just on Instagram. Across all 3 platforms that I post it on, Instagram, TikTok and YouTube, it has a total of 1 million views. And across them 1 million views, not one person has commented mentioning whether these tracks are in key or not. Alright, so we're back in the DJ software now, and what I'm going to do now is show you the second mix, and let's see if you can tell if these 2 tracks are in key or not in key. Let's do it. Alright, so that was mix 2. Was it in key or was it not in key? On left hand side, the track Don't Stop the Music by Rihanna, Rekordbox has analysed as 11A. And on the right hand side, the track S&M by Rihanna as well has been analysed by Rekordbox as 2A. So according to Rekordbox, these 2 tracks are not in key. Let's do a quick Google search, see what Google has to say. So according to Google, the track Don't Stop the Music by Rihanna is in the key of 11A according to the Camelot Wheel, which is the same as what Rekordbox has analysed it as. But on the track S&M by Rihanna, Google says that the Camelot Wheel key is 7A, which is different than the 2A analysis that Rekordbox has given us. Now either way, whether Rekordbox is correct or Google is correct, these 2 tracks are still not technically in key. Now again, because sometimes just listening at home and not having it in the context of a live environment, what I'm going to do now is show you another live clip of me DJing this mix and doing it to a live audience. Alright, so we have a live clip of me doing this DJ mix again in Instagram with the same style of video, but the main thing I want you to focus on is the actual DJing live and the audience's reaction. Let's have a watch. Alright, so there you have it. As you can see, that works really well with the audience. They couldn't tell if it was in key or not, but the mix worked really well and kept the momentum going on the dance floor. Another reason why I wanted to show you this mix in social media is because this video has got over 70,000 views just on this platform. And again, in none of the comments, nobody has ever mentioned that the tracks are in key or not in key. Generally, it's positive comments, as you might be able to see on the screen, but one of the actual main things that I got from this is people criticizing that I mixed 2 songs of the same artist. So if I just scroll down slightly here, we can just see on this comment here, great to see someone still doing the right way, but why, okay, 2 Rihanna songs after each other? And then I just scroll down a little bit further, again, solid mix, and you could probably even do better if you weren't filming, which is right, because I'm trying to do everything in one hand when I do these videos. I personally wouldn't play 2 songs of the same artist after each other, but that's my opinion. Now that is the main thing that I've been getting from people, that 2 songs from the same artist. But I disagree with that. In fact, I think that if you play in a song that people enjoy that artist's music, it's actually sometimes better to kind of group the songs by the artist if you can do. I do this quite a bit in my DJ sets. I often play 2 Rihanna songs back to back, and you can see with the audience there that it works really well. If they react really well to the track Don't Stop the Music by Rihanna, they're more likely going to like the next song as well, S&M. And I actually, after that mix, often go into another song called Where Have You Been by Rihanna as well, and that also goes down really well. There's other tracks such as LMFAO where I'll mix Party Rock Anthem into Sexy and I Know It, and that also goes down really well as well. So again, I disagree with this just from my personal experience, but one thing I want you to take away from that is nobody has noticed that they're in key or not. Alright, so we're back in the DJ software, and now I'm going to show you mix 3. Have a listen to this and see if you can tell if it's in key or not in key.
I'm on fire. Fireball.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but I don't care what y'all say. Cause as the world turns, y'all boys gon' learn that this shit go right here don't play. That boy's from the bottom on the map, MIA, USA. I gave Switch a little pat up on the booty and she turned around and said, walk this way. I was born in a flame. Mama said that every word was on my name. I'm the best you've ever had. If you think I'm burning out, I never am. I'm on fire. I'm on fire. I'm on fire. I'm on fire. All the crazy shit I did tonight.
Alright, so that was mix 3. Was it in key or was it not in key? So let's have a look. The track on the left hand side, Fireball by Pitbull, has been analysed by Rekordbox as key 7B. On the right hand side, the track Memories by Kid Cudi and David Guetta has been analysed by Rekordbox as 3A. So technically, according to Rekordbox, these two tracks are not in key. Now again, we can see that Google gives different results sometimes to Rekordbox, so let's check what Google has to say about the key of these two tracks. Alright, so according to Google here, Fireball by Pitbull is in the key of 7B, which is what we have on Rekordbox as well. And for the track Memories by David Guetta, it says here that it can be in 4B for the original piano key, but the common DJ remix key is 3A, which is what we have in Rekordbox. It's the key of 3A. So hopefully, as you can see then, whether it's within Rekordbox or whether it's within Google, it's still saying that these two tracks are technically not in key according to the Camelot Wheel. Now this is another mix, as you might tell, that I have done live and works really well when I DJ live. So what I'm going to do now is show you another clip of me doing it live and you can see for yourself how it works. Alright, so hopefully you can see there how well that mix actually works when DJing live, and the people in the audience really cannot tell whether it's in key or not. And like I said before, the reason why I'm showing you this on social media is that this video has had over 200,000 views just on Instagram. And again, in the comments, nobody across any platform has mentioned whether these tracks are in key or not. With this one actually, as you might see here, the main comment that I've had that's criticizing it is basically why I'm using a laptop with CDJs. Now I have done a whole video about that topic, why I prefer using a laptop when DJing live, but that's not for this video. But I just want to make a point that people are quite vocal online, as you will know if you've ever posted anything online. And there's not been one comment across any of these videos that I've shown you yet. In fact, I've never had a comment on any of my videos about mixing in key. Now, I want to just make a point as well that all these mixes that I've shown you in this video so far have not been using stems. I've just been using some basic EQs with the low frequency equalizer dials and not been removing any key sounds with stems. Alright, so we have our last mix here. Let's see if you can tell if this one is in key or not in key. Let's do it.
Something that you never been. But I wake up and hell nothing's wrong. Just get ready for work, 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 work. You see me, I be work, 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 work. You see me do me dirt, 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 dirt. So me better work, 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 work. Na, 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 na. When you walk out, na, 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 na. Before the tables turn, 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 turn.
Let's get it, funk up on that fun up in this dance.
Alright, so that was the third mix. Let's see if these tracks are in key or not. On the left hand side, the track Work by Rihanna and Drake is in the key of 12A according to Rekordbox. And on the right hand side, the track Family Affair by Mary J. Blige is also in the key of 12A according to Rekordbox. So according to Rekordbox, these two tracks are perfectly in key. But also let's check with Google to see what Google's saying about the keys of these two tracks. Alright, so Google says that the track Work by Rihanna is actually in the key of 1B, which is different to the 12A key that we've seen on Rekordbox. It also says at the bottom here that some sources may list it as 2B or 10A depending on the analysis. So that's actually 4 different keys that we have there. We have 12A on Rekordbox, 1B, 2B and 10A. So you can see how this can get really confusing for DJs in general, but especially beginner DJs. And then on track Family Affair by Mary J. Blige, apparently Google says that it's analysed in the key of 1A, which is different to the 12A that we have in Rekordbox. It also says along the bottom here that it also fluctuates on the analysis between 5A and 1A. So again, we've got 3 different key analyses there. We've got 1A, 5A and 12A in Rekordbox. Now, regardless of all the different keys we got then from the software and from Google, could you tell with your ears if that was in key or not? Alright, so for one more time, let's watch a live clip of me doing this mix to a live audience and see if they can tell if it's in key or not and what kind of reaction we get from the audience. Alright, so hopefully you can see there, the audience were having a great time. They didn't care whether it's in key or not. The mix was timed well and it worked really well in that scenario and kept the momentum going on the dance floor. Again, this particular mix on this platform has over 80,000 views and not one comment about whether the tracks are in key or not. Alright, so there you have it. And throughout that video, you can probably tell my thoughts and opinions on mixing in key. From my experience, nobody can tell and also no one cares. The people on the dance floor are not DJs, they're just out to have a good time with their friends and they just want to hear good tracks that are mixed together smoothly. Now the reason why I wanted to do this video and put it on YouTube is because I also do this exercise in my beginner to pro DJ course. And the students that watch that lecture are often quite shocked at how little mixing in key actually makes a difference to your DJ sets. This is because online there is a lot of advice that gets thrown around that makes you feel like you should be mixing in key for every single track, otherwise you're not a good DJ. And hopefully, as you've seen there from the evidence, this is just not true. As you can see, it doesn't matter if the tracks are technically in key or not according to the software analysis. What really matters is that you have well-timed mixes that go from one track to another nice and smooth and keep the momentum going on the dance floor. In fact, if you try and mix in key for every single track, it's actually going to make your DJ set sound worse. And that is because it restricts what kind of tracks you can play next. If you have to mix the next track in that's in key, it's going to really limit what track you can play, which might often not be the best track to play next. Whereas if you don't think about mixing in key and just make sure your mixes sound smooth and good to the audience, you should be able to mix the next track that is right for the audience next, hopefully giving you better overall DJ sets. And if after all that you still don't believe me, try it out yourself. Test it. Do a live DJ set. Try mixing 2 tracks that are not in key together and see if the audience notice. But you still also have to make sure that your timing's right and the mix sounds smooth. But you'll quickly realise that the audience don't care whether they are in key or not, and also they cannot tell. Now if you do want to learn how to do professional sounding DJ mixes that actually keep the momentum on the dance floor, then you can check out my DJ course in the link below this video. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it has helped. Thanks for watching and I hope to see you again in the future. Bye for now.